Have you ever seen someone dream for the very first time? I believe it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Tell me, do you know what it's like to have a dream? Maybe you've experienced a dream coming true, or maybe you're working towards your dreams right now. What's it feel like when your dreams come to life? For as long as I can remember, I've dreamt of going to Africa. The people, the culture, the need has always intrigued me. I used to spend hours researching organizations that would take me to Africa. I was young and impatient. I couldn't wait. I was also young, broke, and still in high school. But none of that mattered to me. I had a dream, and I was willing to do whatever it took to make it happen. I dropped out of school, got a job, and began applying to volunteer with different organizations. Finally, I got accepted by one and began fundraising. I begged everyone I knew to donate whatever they could so that I could see my dream come to life. And it did. At 17, I traveled to Swaziland. I left everything I'd ever known to work at a home for abandoned babies. I vividly remember the first time I held a child in Africa. It was an ethereal experience. It was the moment I realized that I lived in this American dream world, filled with comfort and ease. Roof over my head, food to eat, clean water. How could it be that in that same world was a child? Hungry, small, fragile, and he was forgotten. It was the moment I realized that these kids aren't numbers on a page. They aren't statistics that need to be changed. This is somebody's baby. Does anybody have a baby? Anyone have kids? This is somebody's baby, made up of the same elements as me, feeling the same emotions as me, needing the same love as me. It was the moment I realized that somebody needed to fight for these kids, and that somebody was me. I came home incredibly burdened. I had a need to learn about the many injustices in the world: human trafficking, hunger, modern-day slavery, sexual exploitation, social inequality, child endangerment. My empathy for others grew stronger, and I developed an irrevocable desire to be the change. Over the years, I've traveled all over the globe. Still young, still impatient, still broke. So how did I afford it? How did I afford my dreams? Fundraising for me was never asking people for money. It's giving people an opportunity to be involved in something bigger than themselves. Not everybody wants to travel all over the world, but by donating to me, they're being a part of my adventures, they're a part of my mission. I've spent time in rural African villages, educating on human trafficking prevention. I've heard stories of men and women being tightly packed into shipping containers being sent overseas to Yemen. When the ship would get too heavy, some of the children would then be thrown overboard to their death. The ones that survived would spend the rest of their days enslaved. Each home breaking my heart a little more as I listened to mothers beg me to bring their children home. I've worked in Thailand with underage girls who become pregnant as a result of prostitution. Some nights I would venture out to the red light district, these streets filled with young men and women being raped for profit. I filled my time and I surrounded myself with the reality behind the statistics that we hear. 66 million primary school-age children attend class hungry across the developing world, according to the World Food Program. 40.3 million people are victims of modern-day slavery, according to the International Labor Office, forced to work in homes, mines, brothels with little to no hope of freedom. I've spent time with thousands out of these billions of people, each one special, with their own likes, dislikes, dreams, each one captivating my heart in a different way and making me fall madly in love with the idea that I could help them. I could help them be more than what these statistics say that they are. I chose this path not because I believe I am capable, but because I know I am incapable of just sending $35 a month to a child in Africa. Donations like these are amazing, and they help fund programs like mine. But if you desire to experience change, it's not enough. Imagine it. Imagine your children. Imagine your mothers, your sisters. Imagine them being tightly packed in those shipping containers, outside your door, malnourished and hungry, having to sell their bodies each night. What are the lengths you would go to help them? And why aren't you making the same effort for the billions of people suffering today? They need you. The first step to showing up is unconventional compassion. Conventional compassion is sending the $35 a month. It's giving a homeless person on the side of the road a couple dollars. It's easy. It's forgettable. It's not bad. It just doesn't have the most impact. Unconventional compassion is breaking the boundaries of poverty. Forget the language barrier. Forget the distance. Forget all the people that say you won't, because there's many. Forget the society that says you can't, and just go for it. 3 years ago, I started an organization called the Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club, these are my babies. The Breakfast Club is a nonprofit in northern Ethiopia. We feed 70 kids breakfast before school. We provide family support. We cover their medical expenses, tutoring, school supplies, uniforms. We provide showers for the kids that will let us give them. We have Bethlehem and Jordanis, and that's Jerry. This past year, we've rescued 5 boys once living on the street. This is Mulie and Tawachu, and that's my little Soliana in the middle. I had dinner with these boys a couple months ago, and I was listening to their stories. They were friends living on the street. Mulie, the one over here on my right, your left, he said, "You took us out of darkness, and you gave us light." These are boys that were abandoned. They had no hope. They had no one to care for them. But with that unconventional compassion, now they have hope for their futures. Last month, we built a home for a family who for 15 years was sleeping on a mud floor. Now they have a 3-bedroom house. They have a source of income. And they have hope for their futures. A couple months ago, I sat with one of our mothers in a program. She told me her story. For 8 years, she was prostituting herself. Each night, she would lock her 2 daughters up with her blind mother so that she could go sell herself to strange men, just so that she could feed her children the next day. I couldn't imagine leaving Ethiopia without helping her. The Breakfast Club provides microloans. Today, her 2 girls are in private school. She was able to start her own coffee shop, and her dreams came to life. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. When we stop helping in ways that are easy and comfortable, we're able to make an actual difference. When you stop looking at people differently, when you look at people as equals in every aspect, you're able to see the world differently. I'm 25 years old. I lead a staff of 8 in a foreign country. The majority of my staff are men, as you can see. Normally, they shouldn't respect me in their culture. I hope they do. I mother 70 children. I'm responsible for 5 orphan teenage boys. At home in California, I run a business to support myself when I'm not in Ethiopia. I tell you this because you need to know I'm not qualified. Look at me. I shouldn't be able to do this. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm very privileged to do what I do. There's moments where I stop and I look at my life, and I think, I can't believe that I get to love all these people, that these kids are mine. I want you to focus on that word privilege, a special gift, a special right, advantage, or immunity granted or available only to a particular person or group. If you're a young person here today, you have an incredible privilege of time. You have the time to say no more. No more hungry children. No more sexual exploitation. No more slavery. No more hate. I look around this room and I see many people. I don't know many of you. I don't speak many of your languages. But I know that each of you are capable of making a difference in this world. There's a quote that I love by William Wilberforce. He says, "You can choose to look the other way, but you can never say that you did not know." I've told you today about my babies, and there's billions of them around the world that need your help. They need you to show up. Think about your dreams. Think about what burdens you, and pursue it courageously. Show up. Don't waste your life. Show up. Imagine it, seeing someone dream for the first time. Thank you.